Hey guys, this is Tasha. Thank you so much for deciding to hang out with me and to click on my video. That's awesome. Welcome and thank you for coming. I wanted to share with you tonight some advice, or some wisdom, if you will, about attending your first ritual or going to your first public Wiccan, witchy, pagan event. Obviously, I can only speak for myself and my own experience, but I've hosted a lot of these things over the years. And I've learned a few things. So I thought that, we could talk about that. A little while ago, I wrote a blog post on this on the St. John Pagans page. And so I got a really positive review from somebody who said they really appreciated it. And what was kind of blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you why I can't talk. Have a little side note. I am drinking red wine with ice cubes in it out of a mason jar like a complete psychopath. So before you take my advice too seriously, do remember that that's the person that I am. But as I was saying, they were inspired. They said thank you, and I was not sure what to do, and this came at the perfect time. So I thought maybe the people that watch this just crazy wildness, this wild ride that is my channel, that it might help somebody out there who is curious or unsure or just isn't going to a public event because you're nervous you're going to mess something up or that you're going to do something wrong. I'm hoping I can kind of give you some form of peace and maybe reduce some of your anxiety or stress that you might be feeling around that with these tips. And I guess that's my point, is just that to share with you guys some advice that I've learned, and hopefully it'll help you. So anyways, let's get started. I'm done rambling. My first point, we want you to be there. So that's the first thing, is that people who are hosting the ritual, they want you to come. They wouldn't be hosting a public event if they didn't want to meet new people, and they want more people to come. It's a big deal. It's awesome when your circle is growing or a new face shows up for the very first time and new energy. It's amazing. It's so awesome. So they want you to come. So you are welcome. So that should be the first thing. You're not intruding. If they're posting it publicly and they're telling you the date and time and place, they want you to be there. So that's the first thing. Don't beat yourself up. You are definitely going to be welcome. Then it's what to wear, what not to wear. I know that's crossed my mind. The first ritual that I went to, I had no idea. If I would be dressed appropriately in my street clothes. Did I need to get a cloak of some kind, or would they expect me to go naked? Rest your mind at ease. But I think nowadays, most circles, if you're invited to a ritual or a circle, they're probably going to let you know if there is a dress code. They'll probably kind of state it somewhere that is a formal, or it's cloaks or what have you. Going off of that, just wear what you're comfortable in. I mean, I've done rituals in band t-shirts. I've tried the cloak thing. I've done pretty much every ritual in a pair of leggings. I mean, it's not everybody is getting fully dressed up, fully donned. Not that that's a bad thing, I think that's awesome. And again, if that group that you're going to, they do dress up or they do wear a specific kind of piece of clothing, they'll definitely let you know. And in that vein, don't be afraid to ask the organizers questions. They want feedback from the public. They want to hear from you. They want to make sure that they're doing justice to what they're celebrating and the people are welcomed and comfortable. So don't feel bad about messaging and just asking. I did make a point here about Skyclad rituals. And again, that's kind of, if it's a Skyclad, which is just doing ritual in the nude in your birthday suit, they'll let you know. And it's up to you whether or not you're comfortable with that. If you're comfortable with it, go for it, have a good time. And if you're not, then those expectations should be set with you right away about what people are not wearing. But most of the time, every ritual I've ever been to, people were wearing clothes. Mostly jeans, t-shirts, dresses, long skirts. Yeah, that's the usual garb. So don't stress out about it too much. Then my next point, as I take a drink out of my elixir here, how should I behave? General etiquette. What's expected? I think that we as people are way too critical of ourselves. We're way too critical of our behavior, what we say. We go back and rethink it over and over. I know I do that. Like, I still do that. I will go over in my head, could I have said something better, or was I really funny, or were people just being nice to me? You know, we all do it. We all do it. But with ritual, it's like, as long as you're being respectful and you're treating people kindly, nobody is really paying attention, you know? Like, if a joke falls flat, no one's going to remember it. Or if you say something that's a little bit like that people don't get, or, you know, whatever, they're not going to recall it. Like, nobody goes and is like, oh, do you remember that person that we just met for the first time and they weren't really that funny? And they thought, you know, no, like, I've never had experienced that. I've never had anybody kind of gather up after a ritual and talk shit about people that came. Like, everyone's just so pumped to be there and to have you there. They're not overanalyzing you. But I know it doesn't make it any easier to not overanalyze yourself. Like, I totally get that. What else did I write here? Showing respect. So just show respect. And a big point that I made with that is like about cell phones. Turn the ringer off your phone. Save yourself the embarrassment of being the person whose cell phone goes off in the middle of the ritual. It sucks. It sucks for you. It sucks for everybody else. Just turn it off or leave it somewhere. I understand that sometimes we have to be connected to our phones. I work on call, like, I get it, but just talk to the person who's hosting, or at least put it on vibrate or something. But generally, if you can, shut it off. Like, what's the big deal if your phone's off for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, or however long the ritual takes? Like, just turn your phone off. It's a really, really good thing to do. Also with phones, pictures. Sometimes people, you want to take pictures. You want pictures of the rite. You want documentation. I know I usually do. Like, I want to have some pictures. But a general rule is to first ask permission. Again, you want to ask, like, the people who are hosting. If they're cool with it, which, I mean, I've never had a problem with it, just take them beforehand or take them right after. Don't take them during the ritual. Even though, yeah, there's probably some really cool moments that you could photograph. At the end of the day, it's just kind of disrespectful to everybody else there. Like, people are there to connect with their gods or connect with nature or connect with themselves, and they just don't need a phone in their face taking pictures while the ritual is going on. So just kind of turn the phone off and then take pictures after and get your documentation then. Another etiquette thing is with food, and nowadays I find everybody's on a different meal plan, which is good, but it can be confusing. My general rule when it comes to potlucks, and I know myself and my experience, pagans, we love our potlucks. Trust me. When it comes to gatherings where you're asked to bring food, my general rule is that I make something that I would eat. And then at least I'll eat it, right? So if I'm not eating meat, I will make myself a vegetarian dish. Or if I'm restricting something in my diet, I will make that. And hopefully people will still enjoy it. But that's what I do. If you are still nervous, vegan options are always probably the best options, because then you're not really leaving anybody out. And honestly, most vegan options are really healthy, so people will be happy all around. Or just, like I said, make something that you would eat and not worry about the rest. Because again, I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, Tasha brought that macaroni and cheese to the ritual and nobody liked it. Like, people are pretty happy that you're there. Just so keep that in mind. Pagan Standard Time is a huge thorn in my side. Am I guilty of it? Yes. Have I amended that? Oh, yes. If you're not familiar with what Pagan Standard Time, it's kind of a joke amongst the occult pagan community that none of us are on time, that we're always late. You know, everything starts late. I would love to just put that to bed. I want to put a stop to Pagan Standard Time. I cannot stand it. People get late. It happens, right? Like, something can come up. However, just being late for the sake of it, or being late over frivolous things that you could control, doesn't really jive. It sucks. It sucks for the people who are organizing the ritual because they want to get started on time. They may have an agenda. They may have time limits on the space they're renting. There's so many things that you may not even be aware of, and being late can really affect it. It also screws with the vibe because if people are waiting on somebody or a couple of people, they go from this like anticipation of, oh, ritual's gonna start soon, to, oh, ritual's gonna start soon, you know. It sucks. So try your best in all of your witchy glory and power to be on time. That's gonna make an awesome, awesome first impression on your host or hostess. So forget about pagan standard time. Does it cost money to come to ritual? That was another thing that I talked about in my blog post. And I can only speak for myself, but if there was going to be a cover fee or a charge, your host or hostess should definitely have that posted for you, and you should be aware. Sometimes rituals, they'll gather food items for the food bank or for an animal shelter, but again, they'll let you know. Most rituals that I've attended that have been public have been free. There's been no charge for it. But if you're worried about it, just ask the person who is hosting or running the show, and they'll be able to let you know if there's anything that you're required of. But it's not something that I would be super, super worried about, because that should be information that you're being told when you're invited, right? Soliciting. Offering services and stuff like this. I'm not a big fan. Now, again, this is my opinion, but I'm not a big fan of people coming to ritual and offering services for a charge, you know. I see it sometimes in the tarot community where people want to do card readings for an amount of money at the ritual, or people may want to sell something that they make, and there's a lot of artsy and talented and amazing people in the pagan and witchy community, and that's awesome. But to me, and this is my opinion, it's not an appropriate time. Ritual's not a time for that. People shouldn't feel pressure to buy things when they're coming to do something sacred. So I wouldn't recommend it myself. I don't think that it's very polite, but it could be something that's done after, or it could be offered like as a free service for people afterwards. You just want to make sure that you're not making anybody else who's there feel like they're being left out or not included. So it's kind of like, I go by the rule, either I'm just doing it for everybody, I'm going to read cards for everybody after the ritual, free, no problem. Or, you know, so-and-so made incense and they're giving it away to everybody, or whatever, I guess. You guys know what I mean. Just make sure it's inclusive and that you're not singling people out or pressuring people. And of course, just talk to the people who are running the show. Participating in the ritual. I don't think there's any pressure to participate. I know any ritual that I've hosted, nobody has been pressured. I have people that come to ritual who want roles and they want to be involved, and that's awesome. We love volunteers. That's sweet. But then there's people who don't want to. They just want to enjoy it. I had someone recently tell me that they wanted to experience the ritual and suck it all in and really just feel it. And when they have a role, sometimes they feel like too much pressure to get it right that they don't experience it. And I thought that was so cool. And I was like, totally respect that. I get that. Not everybody is a public speaker. Not everybody wants to go up in front of everybody. And that's fine. That's cool. And if you don't want to, or you don't feel comfortable, nobody should be making you do anything that you don't want to do. And if they are, get out of there, because that's not the kind of circle that you want to be a part of. If they ask for volunteers and you want to, and you're just nervous about it because you're afraid you're going to mess something up, my advice to you, do it. Go for it. You won't regret it. I mean, even if you fumble over your words, the gods have a sense of humor. We have senses of humor. It's not a big deal. I mess things up all the time. I can write the ritual myself and still forget halfway through and mess something up. I mean, it happens. Everybody makes mistakes, and really nobody is there to kind of judge you. Nobody, it's like they're listening to you, obviously, but no, everyone's so focused on their own experience, I find, or sharing their energy or connecting with the divine or whatever's happening, that they're not really thinking about the fact that you pronounced a word wrong. And if they are, they're dinks anyway, so whatever. I guess that's it. this was kind of a rambly video. I hope it helps somebody out there. I hope. If you have questions or you're not sure or you're nervous, never hesitate to email me. I'm totally cool talking it out with you. It's an awesome experience, and don't deny yourself it if you're just being nervous and you're afraid you're gonna mess something up, because I promise you it's so worth it to go. And at least if you go and say you don't like it, no big deal. At least you know that it's not your thing, and that's cool too. Thank you so much for putting up with me and my mason jar ice cube drinking. And I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing time at Ritual and that this somehow has helped you in some way. Bye.